AITA for telling my husband I don't care about his kids? I am not the original poster. That is you, Maria MK21. She posted in r AITAH. I added paragraphs for readability. Mood spoiler. Happy ending. Less than. Original post. February 20th, 2024. Hi. I know I sound like the asshole right from the get-go, but please hear me out. I 39F got married to my 42M husband 5 years ago. He had 3 kids at the time who are now 10F, 14F and 17M. I got along with them really well for the first year. They didn't call me mom or anything, which was never ever enforced. I always let them know that they were allowed to call me by my first name. Their mom has not liked me from the start. She has constantly showed up to my doorstep yelling at me saying I am trying to steal her kids. I have tried to sit down and talk to her, explaining that her kids love her and would never replace their mom. She still continues to tell them that rubbish. At around the 2.5-year mark, the kids started pulling pranks on me. I assumed it was harmless, like putting baby powder in my hairdryer or greasing up the stairs. Looking back on it, it should have been a sign. The rubbish their mom kept telling them eventually got to them, with her going as far as saying she was the mistress, which is why Daddy and I divorced, which is completely not true. The kids would then start disobeying me. It all started little, like not putting their shoes away, leaving dirty clothes on the floor. Then it down spiraled from there. They would start screaming at me, the eldest going as far as calling me a home-wrecking whore, which honestly left me in tears. These past 4 years I've been subjected to bullying within my own home. I have spoken to my husband several times about all these situations. He brushes it off, saying they're still adjusting to change or it's all just jokes. Yesterday was my final straw when the 17M and 14F sold my gold earrings that were from my grandma, and they split the money. I told my husband that I was getting a divorce because I could no longer do this. He begged and pleaded with me and said, "Don't you care about the kids?" I told him I didn't care about them one single bit. I am at my parents' house now and he keeps texting and apologizing, saying he'll buy me new ones. I am yet to respond. AITA? Comment. Police report. Commenter. Depends on the value of the earrings stolen and the state in which this occurred. 17M and 14F may be charged with grand larceny if it was expensive enough, which is a felony which can have minors tried as adult in some states. The one I can name on the top of is California and Florida. Oop. Hey. Thanks for letting me know. I am actually located in Florida. There is no consensus bot on AITAH, but a majority were NTA. Update post 1. February 22nd, 2024. 2 days later. Hey guys. These past days have been hard for me, especially with all that's happened. I took the advice and went to the police station and filled a report. The police said they'd see what can be done. I am guessing they did show up to my ex-husband's house because he kept calling me non-stop. He called me all sorts of names, which I took screenshots of and sent to my lawyer. I have indeed contacted a divorce lawyer and will start the process in the next few weeks. Thank you so much everyone. An update won't come out for a while though because I am still figuring things out. Update post 2, February 25th. 2024. 3 days later. 5 days from AUG post. Thank you so much for all the support everyone, it's so kind, and I actually cried loudly, crying red heart. I was able to get my earrings back. They were sold on Facebook Marketplace, and after the police found out who my ex-husband's kids sold them to, the buyer was so nice and understanding and gave them back to me. I tried to give them $100 for the inconvenience, but they just wouldn't let me, loudly crying. The punishments they got was that the 14-year-old receives a warning and the 17-year-old is looking at about 100 hours community service and the warning permanently on his record. Their father has repeatedly been harassing me on social media, calling me petty and every name under the sun. It has all been forwarded to my lawyer and the process is going smoothly. Thank you so much everyone for the support and kindness. Face holding back tears. Editor's note. Because I know it will come up, here are some comments discussing how fast the judicial system works. You can skip this if you don't care. I just thought it was interesting. Commenter. Your kids went through the court process and got punishments in about 5 days? Commenter. 14-year-old receives a warning and the 17-year-old is looking at about 100 hours community service. And the warning permanently on his record. My interpretation is the 14-year-old isn't going to court and that is the likely punishment the 17-year-old. If found guilty. So no court as yet, but that will be what happens if OP pushes forward with one. Commenter. Not surprising to me. Here in the UK, the 17-year-old could have been held overnight, brought before the magistrates next morning. Guilty plea from 17-year-old. Sentenced and out. The 14-year-old might have just got a police caution. Especially if her older brother accepted all the blame for her involvement. Possession of cannabis years ago at Glastonbury Festival. One friend took the blame. In court next morning. Plead guilty. Fined and out. Everyone else walked out of the station next morning. No charge. We did all chip in to pay his fine. Commenter. The police themselves being on top of this isn't a big stretch for me. Even in hillbilly hell, the county sheriff and the deputies get straight to work to get things done. The court part is fishy. But I have no experience with family juvenile court. For adults it can take 30 days in county jail before seeing a judge to even get freaking bail. Much less a sentence. At least that's what it was for ex-son-in-law number 3. But he was a repeat offender on parole. Commenter. Children's court for offenses like this do not take very long as they are minor. I feel like she really glossed over the attempted murder when they greased up the stairs. Him and his ex deserve each other. I hate when parents weaponize their kids in order to get back at the other parent after divorce. It's so damn selfish. The kids were obviously little turds. And the 17-year-old barely a kid. But they've obviously been couched by their mom to be terrors. I'm glad she's out. Husband was pretty awful, too. Yeah, this doesn't read like the usual speedy trial thing we see on BORU. Cuz calling the police. Cops showing up and getting the kids to fess up to who they sold the earrings to and getting warnings in 5 days sounds fairly reasonable. Oops, said the kid was looking at community service. Not that it was actually handed out yet. I'm sorry. Greasing the stairs was just the beginning? That sounds like a murder attempt. What is that? That's not a prank I've ever heard of. All of this could have been preventable or solved easily if the husband wasn't such a slug of a person and that mother being a terrible person. Jez Louise. You would think the ex-husband being an asshole and the mother of his children being one too would have made a perfect match. Children's court is wildly different. They are generally not trying to have minors there away from their parents for long stretches of time. I bet OOP's STBX won't exactly enjoy having to deal with his kids or doing house chores, which now uses up all of his free time. Lol. I wonder how amenable the kids are to helping out with chores. Lol. Taking a partner for granted is the #1 cause of failed relationships. In these situations where the man refuses to help his new wife parent his own children, it looks a lot like he's really just been dating to obtain another woman to run his household and prevent him from being responsible for his own life. What are the Vegas odds on ex-husband just using OOP as free accommodation and childcare and probably more pissed off at losing his free ride than actually losing his wife? Op dodge a bullet emo since she doesn't have kids with him. The kids are a nightmare to deal with and don't respect Op. Well, here's the mom and dad driving their kids to crime instead of co-parenting and letting the kids grow up as best as they can. Great parents. Proof positive that children aren't always innocent angels and stepmoms aren't always evil. Cannibalistic witches hell-bent on destruction. Classic case of me reading the title, expecting Op to be the AH, and then quickly changing my mind within 2 paragraphs. Lol. This has the same energy of a local woman in my neighborhood who actively encourages her nervous dog to be aggressive at the park because she's offended that other people use it as well. When the pooch finally bites someone, he'll be the one who suffers for it. Just like these kids. I'd ask about suing X for the value of the earrings. Christ, what a slug of a man. She has a husband problem and not an evil stepkids problem. He should have put a stop to this years ago. He is completely spineless. If Dad would have addressed this intently from the beginning, none of this would have happened.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.